Interesting. Very interesting. Split personality disorder. Wow, that's interesting. I think I know some folks that got some of that. Oh, the DSM-5. Oh, let's see what they say about the transgender fellers in here. Hey, I got you sneaking in my live stream. What are you doing? I'm trying to get my... Well, friends, I'm going to be working on my master's later on this year. So I gotta get caught up on all y'all perverted demons out there with all the mental disorders. So I can... I don't know. I think they came out with a new DSM-5 that made all you perverted people normal. And people like me, kooky. I don't know, friends. You know, I did spend some time in some mental institutions over the last couple of years. It's all true. But it just made me stronger, everybody. It was just a lot of misunderstandings. Oh, good grief. Oh my gosh, friends, we're doing a live stream tonight. Friends, I was going to go to bed. But the pinball machine over yonder, friends, y'all look at that pinball machine. That's a 1986 Williams Comet. That's the same one my father had when I was growing up, everybody. Well, friends, I had a short somewhere in there. Two of the wires kept warming up, friends, and it almost burned down the whole Grizzly mansion. But I told you, friends, God put me out in the pasture, just like David, and with fighting the Goliath, you know, the perverted federal government in this story. Friends, I was living in a van down by the river. It's all true, friends, it's all true. Because God blessed me with all these gifts, and I took a lot of them for granted, included my wife and my children. So Jesus did what Jesus does. He separated me from all my luxuries for everybody. I did. I lived in a van down by the river, and I made the most of it. Actually, I can't lie, friends. I complained a lot, and I did a lot of things I shouldn't have. I complained about the family on the live streams, but it's okay, everybody. Friends, my daughter wanted to come play the pinball tonight, so we fired it up, and she played a couple games. She didn't do too bad. But friends, the other night, I got the highest score, friends. I almost hit 1,000,000 points. 1,000,000. Friends, I beat the high score on it. I didn't even think it could go up to 1,000,000, but it always surprises me. The pinball, the Williams Comet, 1986. You know, friends, sometimes I wish I just had a time machine. I could just put a quarter in the old pinball over there, the pinball machine, and just go back to a time that wasn't so perverted and so damn evil. Friends, I hate to report, but that child that we were looking for, we hadn't found him. And the sheriff, well, they've taken over the case, friends. They're the professionals, so we went ahead and we just handed off all our information over to the perverted detective. That girly man, Jared Hagstad, I think your name is. I got your name in my leader's book over here somewhere. Friends, we're not supposed to be talking about those things, but the sheriff did trick my family. It's all true, friends. That's why I had to go to the mental institution for a little while. That's okay, friends. I met some new righteous folks in there. And the doctor, well, he really liked what I was doing. He goes, wow, you're taking all your psychology training, and you're a combat soldier. And you're not kooky, I can tell. I mean, the guy was trained. He was a little young, but he was trained. I could tell he was trained. And then he said, wait a minute, you're the PGK, you were the 13 Fox PGK instructor? And I go, well, how'd you know? Well, he said, I watched all your videos, and you talk about it a lot in your videos. And it's all true, friends. I was your PGK instructor. It's the XM1156. But it's not experimental any longer. They're using it in Ukraine right now to kill a bunch of Russians. And they have. Friends, I hate to tell you, but I was a part of the problem. I was a part of the military-industrial complex. I was under the spell, friends. George W. got me hooked, and I never turned back, friends, not until Jesus removed my alcohol addiction. And I started seeing clearly. It's like all the fog, friends, the morning dew. You know, it's here 1 minute and then it's gone. But friends, we're all going to go through life's little storms. And I most certainly have, friends. You know, I thought when Jesus removed all the the addictions out of me. I thought my life would just be groovy. I wouldn't have any more worries or any more problems. But everybody, that's kind of when it all started. You know, the devil will really come after you. If you beg Jesus to help you out with a little problem, well, the devil's like, wait a minute. Oh, no, you can't do that. You're mine. But we don't belong to the dark one, my friends. We belong to Jesus. And we must ask him for help when we need it. And we must acknowledge him when things are going well. Friends, I'm doing Bible studies again. I did a Bible study in the car line today. Because little Lukey's been getting on to me. Friends, little Lukey was on that first tour with me. He was the saw gunner, and I was the squad. Well, I was the team leader. Friends, it didn't make any sense. It was the heavy weapon squad, but they just let us all go out with all the heavy. I mean, friends, we literally had 1, 2, 3, 4, in a squad of 7 soldiers. We had all the crew serve weapons. We would all go on patrol. They didn't divide us up with all the other squads. It was literally the heavy weapon squad. I mean, friends, give me a break. You're supposed to break it up. That's what the infantry guys would do, but we were with the field artillery. And we do things just a little differently. That's right, everybody. I was a 240 Bravo gunner too. And I friends, don't tell that sheriff, but they didn't get everything. I kept these from the war, from the first deployment, friends. It's mine. You can't have it back, you perverted federal government. The statute of limitations. It's been over 20 years. Friends, it is a true story. That first deployment, I got home and I was shaking out my A bag, and I had well, it wasn't quite 100 rounds like I got now, friends. Friends, I had a couple links of it was 50 cal in my bag. Friends, don't ask me how I got past customs. And my ex-wife, you know, she was like, "What in the hell you got in there?" I was like, "I don't know. Just don't tell nobody. I don't want to get no trouble. I'm home now." But the sheriff, look, it's all plastic. I'm obeying all the rules, but, you know, we're going to go to court next month, and the whole nonsense is going to be tossed out. And then I'll be able to go back down there for the second time and get all my equipment to put in the weapons locker back over yonder. I told you, friends, just minor inconveniences. It's all about how you reframe your thinking. Now, I could have gotten real sore about all these troubles that your sergeant major had to go through, but I just prayed, friends. I just prayed, and then when I realized, when Jesus gave me the understanding that this was all spiritual, I didn't get angry any longer. I mean, it was very frustrating, friends, and I had my days. I certainly had my days. But Jesus told me he had a lot of work to do, and he told me just to be a good soldier, keep my damn mouth shut, and just follow the orders. I told you, friends, I'm stubborn. Sometimes I don't do that. I'm learning, everybody. I'm learning to be a better listener. Oh yeah, that was a fun one there. I think some soldiers got wounded on that net. We had a sniper. They were shooting at us all the whole training, friends. I was in Afghanistan, 2013. That was deployment number 3 out of 4, friends. That was 4 times your humble sergeant major was deployed. Friends, I'm not a real sergeant major. I just play one on TV, for goodness sakes. I mean, look over yonder. I don't like to brag, friends. I was a most unhumble sergeant first class E7, friends. I thought I knew everything. I didn't have the patience to wait another 6 months to get my E8 and be a master sergeant, then take over a battery. So I just did what any unrighteous, non-humble E7 Sergeant First Class would do. I just put my retirement packet in and said, "The hell with all y'all." But it's okay, friends. I'm going to have to sit this next one out. I don't know, friends. Friends, the mountains in Afghanistan were pretty hard. I don't want to have to go carrying a 240 in the mountains of Iran, friends. I mean, come on. Y'all know the draft is coming. It's coming, friends. I'm trying to warn y'all. Y'all just want to lock me up in the mental wards, call me kooky. And friends, check it out. The power will be going out here. Friends, I thought we had a little longer. But now the government's telling us that there's going to be drone attacks over somewhere in California. Friends, do you really think Iran could do that? Or do you think it might be one of those 9/11 type conspiracies? Friends, I don't trust anything this government tells me or any of y'all. Friends, I don't even trust the Trumpster. Because he's one man, and the government's full of corruption. friends, I got some sad news. My buddy, Mr. NORAD, he was another peer support specialist at the Department of Veteran Affairs. And friends, he was subjected to all that hostilities towards the white Christian men, just like your humble Sergeant Major was. And friends, he called me. Friends, I literally have his lawsuit right over yonder. He sent me a copy. Oh, y'all don't believe me, do you? Oh, y'all just stand fast. Friends, I told you, when I was an employee at the Department of Veteran Affairs, I was a damn good employee. But I wasn't humble in everybody. I kind of wanted to be the boss. And eventually I was, but it didn't last that long because the DEI caught up to your Sergeant Major. And I just couldn't. Friends, I didn't do the silly pronouns. Friends, when my lawsuit, friends, if it gets tossed out, I'm just gonna publish every single document for every one of y'all. I'll just create another website, and I'll just let y'all read it all. I haven't done that yet because I don't want it to get tossed out for a technicality. But friends, there's not one email with my real name and my role in a silly perverted pronoun. I didn't play the game. I didn't get the COVID shots, so of course the government decided to come after me. Because they didn't really care that the Bay Pines VA's voluntary service was #1 in all of Vision 8. No. They should have been proud of that. I know I certainly was. Now, I didn't get it to the #1 spot, but the time that I was there, the 2 years, the year and a half that I was there, that they did the rating of #1 voluntary service, well, friends, the little guy and I, that was my boss. Well, we maintained it at that #1 spot, and that was something to be proud of. And the soldiers like to come in there. Because I didn't play around with the DEI. That's the diversity, the equity, and the inclusion that has ruined and destroyed our country, everybody. It's all true. But friends, what I have in my hand right here is the man's lawsuit. Because he found out that I sued the government. Now, friends, this is like a year and a half ago that he sent this to me. Oh my gosh, my rounds, friends. Hold on. I'm having a wardrobe malfunction. Oh my goodness, friends. I mean, the struggles of being a combat soldier. You just got too much gear. It just gets in the way of everything. Now, friends, my friend, Mr. NORAD. Now, he found out that I was suing the perverted government. And because I told you, friends, I was one of the senior peer support specialists in all of Vision 8. I was the co-lead. So I helped train and mentor all the friends. I was a peer support specialist before I got promoted to the assistant chief of voluntary service. And everybody knew me, friends, all the haters and all the supporters. So he reached out, and I had a little counseling with the guy, and I said, you have got to sue these people. You got to sue the demonic man pants of all these perverted, well, they're not ladies, all these perverted witches. And they most certainly were witches. Friends, they did black magic at Bay Pines VA. They had pentagrams all over their cars. And Bay Pines VA is like a hot spot for all the LGBT and all the people that want to do the perverted things with the children. Trust me, friends, I had a volunteer. He showed pornography to one of my summer students. And I got in trouble, everybody. It's all true. It's a part of the lawsuit, by the way. I told you, friends, I'll just release it all if we don't get what we need out of this. But, friends, he did. He didn't. Friends, I don't want to minimize the guy's trauma. He still works, and I shouldn't even be telling you his last name. Friends, the man he had the same hostilities go after him because he was a white Christian guy. But his was supervisor level. And believe it or not, because of his lawsuit, 2 people, friends, they didn't just get fired. They went to jail. They got arrested. There was some crime. Friends, when there's DEI, there's always crimes. I've been trying to tell y'all that for a long time. So his supervisor, and I believe another person in the chain of command, was actually arrested for like some fraud, waste, and abuse stuff. My friends, he called me like 4 or 5 months ago. It was right before I was doing the peaceful protesting for my friend, Mr. H.K. Edgerton. I got his calendar right over yonder. The man's off with Jesus now. He's very proud of how I've, regrouped, and now we're back at it. friends, he told me that his vision, his VA they were going to settle with the guy. He was looking at like $30,000, and I said, "Well, that's kind of shortchanging you. But you're still working the job, and you can still get that retirement. So you just take whatever the hell they're willing to offer." Friends, you gotta understand, the people that I'm suing, these demons, they don't want to settle. They just want to keep blaming me for everything. I mean, they were in my medical records. They put me through an illegal investigation. They gave me zeros on the interview when I interviewed for the chief. And friends, the score was a 1 to 5. If I had done horrible, I get a 1. I don't get a 0.0. That's called discrimination. And it's as clear as hell, friends. As clear as day. They didn't read my resume. It would have clearly said that I worked for Congressman Kirk Clausen and Congressman Francis Rooney, the lizard man himself. Friends, I'm convinced that man was a lizard man. But friends, I got some sad news about my buddy right here. Friends, his lawyer mysteriously died like 2 weeks ago. His lawyer just had a heart attack and died. And he missed the deadline, and then this perverted DEI judge that he has, told him he had 1 week to get a new lawyer or the whole thing's getting tossed out. So he called me yesterday and we had another counseling. Friends, I told you this government is so damn corrupt. Friends, I gotta be careful. I mean, I really do love the Esquire. He's been really good and generous to me in this whole situation. I would, Corporal Stevens, call the Esquire immediately. We need to get some grizzly soldiers over there in Austin, Texas, and start. We just need to make sure the man's safe. I don't want this perverted government to... Okay, all right, good deal. Friends, it's true. My friend's lawyer dropped dead like a week or two ago. Just mysteriously had a heart attack. And the judge told him, you got 1 week to hire a new lawyer or the whole thing's getting tossed out. Well, friends, he's got like 3 days left and he can't get all the evidence from the law firm because they're closed, because they're mourning their colleague. Friends, I told you, there is no justice in our country any longer for a white Christian man. There just is none. Now, friends, I know I've been complaining and moaning about my lawsuit for, well, good grief, we're going on 2 years now. Friends, I get all the Facebook. They give you like a 2 year ago memory. Friends, 2 years ago, I was out there doing the protesting at the Bay Pines VA. I'm so proud of myself, everybody. I really am. Because I'm still here. Y'all hadn't gotten rid of me yet. And I'm back with my family, right where I belong. And at some point, the lawsuit will be done one way or the other. Hold on, friends. I'm perched. Friends, I have no idea what's going to happen with my lawsuit. This horrible, incompetent EEO judge. Friends, I'm going to tell... Friends, I shouldn't do it. Friends, I have a recording of the meeting that I had with the judge and my lawyer in the VA. I can't release it. Not yet, friends. Because that'll definitely get it tossed out on a technicality of some sorts. Confidentiality breach. But I went ahead and gave it a listen again this morning. And this lady's very condescending and basically saying, well, you should just settle with the agency. And the route you're going is going to be long, and it's going to be this, and I might just toss it. Friends, the lady says it all in the call. She didn't know that she was being recorded. Or was she? I can't tell you, friends. I would hate for them just to use that to toss it out, because they're just so damn corrupt. Well, anyways, friends, we just got to pray for my buddy. He's still at the job. But he's on the suicide prevention team, and he belongs there. He's the real deal. And friends, I used to be on the suicide. I wasn't a veteran that needed it. Friends, I was an employee, and I worked on the suicide prevention team for almost 2.5 years, friends. And I didn't have no DEI problems there, because they just don't mess around with that. Because there'd be a lot of questions with Congress. You know, how come nobody answered the phone? We got it's not 22 a day, it's like 100 a day. Now look, friends, we could sit here and complain all night long about the VA, and that would get boring and tiresome. I just don't feel like doing that any longer, friends. Besides, World War III's already kicked off, and pretty soon the power's going to go out, friends, and we're not going to be able to enjoy the pinball machine. Oh wait, we do. We got the Blue Eddy. I'm sure the Blue Eddy solar panels. We can get it working. But look, friends, like I was telling you like 20 minutes ago, sometimes I just wish I had a quarter. I could just throw that quarter in the pinball machine over there and just go back in time, you know, to like the early 90s, friends. That was really cool. We had a lot of fun in the 90s, you know. If you didn't like somebody or a group of people, well, friends, you just left them alone. There was no Facebook to go on there and hoot and holler. We just kind of did our own thing back then. We didn't have cell phone. Friends, we didn't even have social media. It was so cool. So if you had a disagreement with somebody, you literally had to find them, or you would have to start a rumor that you're going to fight them somewhere. Then they would meet you there. Then y'all may fight or just talk it out, or who knows, friends? I mean, it was the 90s. Sometimes I really do wish we had a quarter to put in that pinball machine over there. Oh wait, Corporal Stevens, you do? Does it work? Hold on, friends. Let's see what happens when he's gonna put it in. All right. Oh my gosh, friends! I think we're going back in time. Oh my gosh, friends! Friends, I think it's doing something. What is it doing? Oh my gosh, friends, we're going back in. Oh my gosh, friends, we're going back in time. Oh my gosh, friends, something's going on here. Oh my gosh, friends, the room's spinning. Corporal Stevens, what the hell's going on here? Oh my gosh, friends. Oh, friends, I'm looking at the date. Oh my gosh, friends, it's 2016. Oh yeah, it was a cool year. I like that year. I had the Harley. Oh my gosh, friends. Oh, friends, 2010. Oh, the Obamas. Oh, Big Mike. Keep going. Whoa. Oh my gosh. 2004. No, George W. Keep going. I need more. Put another quarter in that machine immediately. Oh my gosh, Corporal Stevens. Oh. Whoa, good grief. All right, we're getting there. 2001, no 9/11. It was an inside job. Keep it going. Oh, get down, incoming. Corporal Stevens. Oh my gosh. Okay, 2000. Okay, we're getting closer. 2000. Oh my gosh, no. 2000. Oh, the Y2K. Oh, that was a big bunch of nonsense. And I had to do National Guard duty at the Homer Armory in Tampa. Oh my gosh. All right, Corporal Stevens. Oh my gosh, it's spinning. Oh my gosh, here we go, Corporal Stevens. All right, 1998, that was cool. That was the year I graduated. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, 1994. Okay, all right, we're slowing down. I had the dirt bike. Okay. 1986, I like it. Oh my gosh, Corporal Stevens. All right. Let's go put a quarter in that pinball machine for real. Oh, yeah. I need a quarter, please. Give me a couple. Uh-oh. What the heck? Yeah! Oh my gosh, hold up. Oh my gosh, Corporal Stevens. No, we're back. We're back in the... Hold on, everybody. Let me check the date. Oh, it's 1996. Oh, cool. We went back to 1980, but now we're back. All right, everybody. Hang on. A little smoky in here. What happens when you got the pinball? When you got the pinball time machine. All right, everybody. Here we go. Oh, good grief. right, there we go. Okay, all right, everybody. We're gonna do a little pinball tonight. Oh, yeah. All right, everybody. Okay. 1986 Williams. Oh, I couldn't see. Look, everybody. The wire wasn't heating up tonight, so I got all the illumination going. Oh yeah, jerk. Whoa, look how cool it looks. That smoke over Stevens. It's not gonna help out my tuberculosis. It's all true, everybody. I got TB on that second deployment to Kuwait. I had a Kuwaiti. One of my drivers hold on, everybody. Friends, one of my drivers in the buses, well, he was coughing up blood all over the place. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? And he goes, I was like, get the hell out of here, you're dismissed. It's all true, everybody. That was that Kuwait deployment, the Pogue mission. All right, here we go. Oh, no. That was a mulligan. Oh, yeah. Perhaps it's hard to see with Sergeant Major shades on, but I would be out of uniform. Oh, the fun. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I can't see, friends. Alright, we're gonna have to modify the uniform. Friends, I cannot see. Oh my gosh. Alright, hold on here. Alright, stand by. Sergeant Major has to. Okay. Friends, sometimes when we do the time machine, well, the alarm goes off because of the smoke detectors, and then I get a knock at the door with a very unfriendly fire marshal, the Hillsborough County, and I think he told me he's going to take me to jail if it ever happened again. I told you, nobody in this county has any joy, except your humble Sergeant Major. All right, let's try it again, please. Corporal Stevens, roll it back. Oh, yeah. Oh, there we go. I tell you, it sounds really cool dumping around with that mic. It literally sounds like we're inside the pinball machine. Oh! I'm definitely not going to get the high score tonight playing like this. Oh yeah. I know what you think it did. I'm going to get my hands on it. As soon as I can get all this smoke out of my legs. Oh, come on. Alright, friends, like I told you, it's Free Play Wednesday. Alright. So check it out, everybody. I have a second pinball machine. It's in the garage. It's a 1986 Goblite Genesis. Now, friends, I got to get a new motherboard for it. Somehow it's broken. It just lights up. But at some point down the road, I'm going to get that one working too. I just got to get all my priorities, my finances in order. Maybe if I can never get this lawsuit done, I can get it fixed. But we're not going to count on it. It's the fun house. The not perverted fun house. Oh. Oh my gosh. Where'd the ball go? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There we go. I keep losing the ball. It's just too dark. Oh, come on. There we go. Oh. Oh, I missed that one. Ah! Alright, I can't. Oh my goodness. I think the lights are so cool on this thing. My son loves it. Alright. There we go, get the points. Here we go, let's see if we can get it in. So the dummy's not coming out. I don't know. Sometimes it pops up, sometimes it don't. There we go. I'm just not doing it tonight. Oh, I got a free ball. They felt sorry for me. This is where you get the hole in a million. I can't ever do it though. Nope. It's literally like the coolest pinball machine ever. Uh-oh. Friends, I had this growing up in my house when I was a kid. Just like my children do now. My father was a really cool guy. But he died in an ultralight plane crash. True story. The one. Oh, we're not. We're not. Or maybe, I don't know. I'm starting to see with my combat shades on. this pinball machine is like a fair. Ugh. It's like an amusement park. It's the roller coaster. All right, last ball. Yeah, I got almost 1 million 2 nights ago. Oh, but not today. Oh well. At least. Oh, that was a lot of fun. Certainly was fun. Oh, I tell you, that smoke. The smoke. All right, look, friends, we're gonna be right back. We gotta do a little commercial break real quick. Get the cameras reset up. All right, friends, we'll see you in about 30 seconds after this commercial break from our sponsors. We gotta go to the Catabunga Show. Rain, sleet, or snow, we gotta go to the Catabunga Show. Mommy, let me go, daddy, let me go to the Catabunga Show. We better go to the Catabunga Show. All right, children, let's go. We gotta go, children. I say we gotta go. It's urgent, Major Grizzlegrits. You gotta follow me, children. All right, follow me right now. Let's get going. We gotta go to the Catabunga Show. Rain, sleet, or snow, we gotta go to the Catabunga Show. Mommy, let me go, daddy, let me go to the Catabunga Show. We better go to the Catabunga Show. All right, children, we gotta go for the last time. All right, children, let's move out.
Incoming. Seek shelter immediately. This is not a drill. Maintain righteousness at all times.
Yeah! Oh, wow. Friends, I was gonna do a, hold on, I'm getting the double feed, hold stand by. I was gonna do a show with my kids. It's gonna be called the Catabunga Show. It'd have been pretty cool. Do all kind of silly stuff. All right, hang on here. What the hell's going on? Where's that other, that other mic? Turn it off. Corporal Stevens, please. All right, there we are. No, we're not. There we are now. All right, friends, I don't know what else can I say that hadn't already been said a million. What the hell am I getting? Okay. Friends, I got a lot of ideas. I got a lot of plans. It's just trying to find the motivation to do them all, you know? It seems like every time I get close to getting somewhere, another... put it, you know, another storm brews in, you know. But I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give in. I'm just going to regroup and get back to work. Friends, I was back at the Cedar Grove Cemetery today. And it looked real nice, everybody. And I'm not trying to throw nobody under the bus, but when I went out there a year and a half ago, it looked horrible. Because there was no young folks out there helping the elders get it all squared away. And I met the man that was, you know, one of the elders at the church there. And he says, well, you know, I can't weed whack any longer. I'm just too old. I'm almost 80. But he says he likes to do the mow job. So, you know, I said, well, if it ain't no trouble, I'd love to come out there and help you get this place squared away. That was my first cemetery. Out there in Lithia, Florida. And there's a lot of Confederate soldiers buried out there. At least 5. I know 5. And to me, that's a lot when it comes to local cemeteries. Oh my gosh, friends, I'm so sorry. But friends, we're going to get back in the community. That's, the protesting, there's not a need right now, and I would do it all over again for Mr. H.K. Edgerton. Certainly I would, The man, friends, I had no idea who that guy was. All I know is that I witnessed a horrible abomination, a crime in America. Somebody's civil liberties were literally, trampled on right in front of me. What would y'all have done if you were me and you were out there with your family? Would you just ignore it and not go back the next day and ask some questions? Well, friends, I did. I went back the next day with my camera. I reenacted what I saw, because that's the best way to capture all the evidence. Before your memory starts playing tricks on you, you just go out there and reenact the whole thing. It's just what you do. And I did. And then I went in the building and I asked some people some questions, and then it just went downhill because nobody wanted to answer no damn questions, just like the government. Well, it is the government. It's the county government. But anyways, friends, Mr. HK, he passed away back in January. Real nice guy. Literally, friends, I had no idea who the man was. I went home and I looked him up. Well, friends, I went out and talked to the guy. He was doing a peaceful protest on the side of the road right outside of the Veterans Park. I could have taken the easy right, taken my butt down to Mission Barbecue and had my nice veterans-free lunch because it was Veterans Day when he got kicked out of that county park. The shame is that is one of the most beautiful, if you take away all the DEI and all the holes and all the rebar that don't have the orange caps and all the incompetence, friends, that park can be a really nice place. It really could. But I had to evict the drummer guy. Friends, y'all remember the drummer? There was some knucklehead. Now, he wasn't a veteran. He wasn't out there for any type of therapy. But there was some knucklehead from Cuba. He would come out there and set up his 100-piece drum set in a memorial veterans park and just go to town. I caught him on the camera a couple times. And then I had a lot of veterans come up and complain to me and said, we don't like to come out here because this knucklehead's out here every Saturday and Sunday just beating his drum. And friends, the man was out there for 7 hours beating the drums. So when he showed up, one of the days I was out there doing my peaceful protest. Well, friends, I had a lot of supporters out there too, and I wasn't showing off. But friends, in my full gear, and we had our firearms on us too, because it's legal, friends. Well, friends, I walked up on the man and I said, "What the hell you doing?" I mean, friends, I'm in my full kit. I'm dressed down because it's Sergeant Major after hours, and we're having a little fun with the pinball machine. But friends, I was in the body armor that I had in the war. The IOTV, the new one. Well, I'm sure there's a newer one now. Not the old IBA, the IOTV. Friends, I had my Glock 9mm right here so everyone could see it. And I walked up to the guy and I said, "What the hell you doing?" And the guy about pooped his pants. And I said, "Look, I need you to get this out of here right now." He goes, "Well, it's a shame." I said, "What's a shame? This is a memorial park. People can't come out here and reflect because you're out here making all this ruckus." He goes, "Well, it's such a beautiful park." I said, "I know, it's a memorial park. What the hell are you doing?" He goes, "Well, it takes me about 20 minutes to set it all up." And I said, "Look, friend, I'm going to give you 5, and you better be the hell out of here." And I turned around and walked away. And friends, in 5 minutes, that guy was driving out of that place. And he's never, friends, the guy fled back to Cuba. I don't know. I think Mr. Trump's about to annex it. Friends, I told you, this whole world's just kind of, what ain't my worry any longer, friends. My worry's my family. And getting righteous and getting back in the Word. Friends, we're going to start doing the Bible studies again. It's been weighing on my heart heavy, friends. Oh, hold on, everybody. I'm perched. Well, I don't know if I should be drinking this. The filter on the filter expired on the fridge. What's a little microplastics and a little fluoride? I'm sure it'll be okay. I mean, for all y'all that took the COVID shots, I'm sure I'll be okay, right? It's okay, friends. We all got to meet Jesus at some point. To me, the sooner the better. We'll just get this nightmare all done with. But, I got a lot more work to do down here. And again, friends, speaking of work, there's a community work party coming up. Now, friends, this is not my community work party. This is another man's community work party. I will never take credit for something that I didn't do, that belongs to me. This belongs to another man. Friends, you got to check them out. They're called the Brandon Roots. Brandon Roots, friends. It's an organization right here in Brandon, Florida. And it's run by a real nice man named Mr. Robert Gaines. And you got to look the guy up, friends. The guy's the real deal. I mean, him and I really see eye to eye with a lot of the issues that are going on in our local community. I'm talking about the corrupt government. I mean, everything. And just like me, he just got sick and tired of sitting around complaining with all his buddies. So they said, well, hell, we're just going to start an organization, a charity, and we're going to get to work. And that's just what they did. I spent, not this past Saturday, because I was on vacation with my family. That's right, friends. I'm back in my home studio. I'm no longer living in a van down by the river because I prayed. And we learned earlier in the car line Bible study that if we remain righteous, and what was John chapter 14? I believe it was John 14, verse 1 through 9. But it basically says, Jesus is the vine. Oh, friends, where'd my cheaters go? Friends, you don't want to get pruned. You don't want God to prune you from the vine, because then you're going to be left all alone, and you're going to wither away, and you're going to be thrown into a pile that gets consumed by the fire. And that's what we went over today in the car line Bible study. It was a lot of fun, friends. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. I think it was John 14. Friends, you must learn the Bible. That way it's written on your heart. I don't want to give you the wrong scripture. I believe it was John 14, but we did a nice little short, friends. Go check it out. It's getting a lot of views, and I certainly enjoy it when I maintain my righteousness, and the Lord rewards me by getting, some views on some of the stuff. Oh, here we are. John 15? Hold on, friends. I'm so sorry. I think it was 15. Oh my goodness, friends, I can't read. It's just too dark in the bunker. Where'd that light go? Here it is, friends. I'm just going to read it to you. Because, friends, what it's talking about is if you stay in the Word will stay in you. And then when you ask for things, sometimes they'll come, Jesus will bless you with them. Friends, why this is important to me, all last summer I was complaining that absolutely nobody wanted to come out with Sergeant Major and help me out with any of my work parties. I couldn't get one of y'all out there. Not even my wife. That's okay, friends. She's a different lady now. But friends, I met this man with the Brandon Roots, and friends, check him out on Facebook. Go follow him. He's been doing this for about 5 years. And he's got a group of volunteers, and they go out and they get things done around the community. It's real nice. And I was literally in court waiting to go in there and be before that perverted, unqualified DEI judge, that Frances Peroni lady. And I'm scrolling through my phone, and I see a bunch of people in the Seffner Cemetery. And I was like, wait a minute, this got to be old. Ain't nobody ever go out there but me. But friends, I was mistaken. It was the Brandon Roots and the whole gang were out there, and they did a really good job. So I messaged the guy, and I said, hey, I got to get to know you. What's going on here? I couldn't get nobody out there. And then, friends, later on that day, him and we had a real good meeting, like 3 hours. We hung out and fellowshipped in the cemetery. I met him out there. We basically, he was filling me out because he's very protective of his organization, and I would be too. But the following Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago, we went out there and we finished the job. His crew showed up. They had all the trees trimmed up, and we put them up in a big dump trailer. I cleaned some graffiti off the wall, and friends, I hate to report. Well, actually, I don't hate it, friends. We caught friends. There was a group of illegals that did that, and we got our hands on them. And friends, I hate to tell you this, but they had to go down the hole. What kind of Sergeant Major would I be if I don't follow the rules? I don't make the rules, friends. But if you graffiti in Granny and Papa's cemetery, I'm talking about the Seffner Cemetery, I gotta put you down the hole. There's just no exceptions. My friends, this man's having another work party in Brandon, and you can go to his Facebook and follow him there and sign up. It's over at the Brandon Family Cemetery. It's right there across, it's Highway 60 and Lithia Pinecrest. It's right near the Fox and Hounds Irish Pub, or British Pub. I'm sorry, I didn't. Tracy, I'm so sorry. It used to be a. It's a British pub. It used to be an Irish pub many years ago. But friends, I don't frequent the bars any longer. But anyways, friends, he's having another work party. It's going to be March the 28th, Saturday, March 28th, 2026, in a couple weeks. And I'm going to be out there. And we're going to have a lot of volunteers. It's a tiny little cemetery, but, you know, it'd be nice to network, get to know some folks. I know there's some tree limbs and some other debris that needs to be taken out of there. And maybe we can clean some of the headstones. And friends, there's a lot of Southern Confederate Army soldiers buried there. And friends, if that bothers you, just go ahead and log off. I don't think I can help you. You know, that's a part of history. And you got to get to know your history, everybody. And believe it or not, your humble Sergeant Major has roots going all the way back to the Southern Confederate Army. That's true, friends. My great-great-great-great-granddaddy was a soldier in the Georgia 61st. Friends, I got Confederate Army lineage in my blood. So look, friends, we're going to read this passage, and then I got to get y'all going. It's getting late. And some of y'all still have a job, and you got to get up and go to work tomorrow. Friends, I don't want to gloat, but I'm retired. I know, friends. Jesus plucked me out of that horrible, perverted federal government for the last time. Friends, my goal was to be a supervisor in the VA, and I just wanted to prove to myself that all the perverted, unqualified supervisors that I had in the 8 years prior to me becoming a supervisor, that was just a goal. It was kind of like my goal in the Army to be a first sergeant, but it never happened. But Jesus allowed me to be not just a supervisor, friends. I was an assistant chief of a service. That's big time. I was a GS-11, step 5. And then I should have been the 12, which actually should have been a 13, but they lowered it for my boss. I told you, friends, these people are out of control. But I got a taste of it, friends, and I was a damn good assistant chief. And the lawsuit will prove it, friends, whenever the time comes. But look, friends, I'm just going to leave you with this little word. It's John 15, verse 1. This is Jesus. Friends, we know it's Jesus because it's written in red. And it's Jesus, friends. I'm just going to read it to you. Then we'll have to wrap it up. This is John chapter 15, verse 1. It says, this is Jesus speaking. This isn't Sergeant Major. I know some of y'all aren't that bright, but it's okay. We're going to work with you. It says, I am the true grapevine, and my Father is the gardener. Verse 2, he cuts off every branch of mine that doesn't produce fruit. And he prunes the branches that do bear fruit, so they will produce even more fruit. Verse 3, you have already been pruned and purified by the message I have given you. Verse 4, remain in me, and I will remain in you. For a branch cannot produce fruit if it is severed from the vine. It's profound, friends. It's so profound. What sweet love poetry Jesus has for all of us. Even you haters out there. This is for all y'all. I mean, I'm not going to... I mean, Jesus is going to do a little pruning on me, but I'm not going to be separated from the vine, is what I'm trying to explain to y'all. That's why I'm back, and I'm better than ever, and my family's better than ever. Jesus had some pruning to do, if y'all hadn't figured that out. He got rid of all the fruit, all the vine branches that weren't producing the fruit. They're gone. They ain't coming back. They're not going to be around the family. I hate to be that way, but it's the only way we can be until they get some righteousness. It says right here, friends, verse 4, remain in me and I'll remain in you, for a branch cannot produce fruit if it is severed from the vine, and you cannot be fruitful unless you remain in me. That's Jesus, everybody. Verse 5, yes, I am the vine. You are the branches. Those who remain in me, and I in them, will produce much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing, friends. And that is so true. Friends, Jesus put my family back together literally 3 times in this last year. And every time he was doing a little pruning here, a little pruning there. And sometimes the wicked branches would grow back, and he'd just have to do a little more pruning. And that was the separation, friends. But we're all back together. We're doing real well. It's about forgiveness, everybody. You must have forgiveness in your heart. If you don't, I'm certain Jesus might just prune you, and you might just go in the eternal fire. Let's keep reading. Verse 6, anyone who does not remain in me is thrown away like a useless branch and withers. Such branches are gathered into a pile to be burned. Verse 7, But if you remain in me and my words remain in you, you may ask for anything you want and it will be granted. Verse 8. When you produce much fruit, you are my true disciples. This brings great glory to my Father. Friends, that's kind of why we're doing the community stuff, the outreach. We're doing the work parties. Friends, it ain't for the views or the likes or any money or any donations. And friends, I do have a most righteous, right here, friends, Grizzly Army Ministries. Go make a donation. I could use it. Because just like Mr. Robert Gaines, you know, everything's out of their pocket, friends. It costs a little money to fuel up the truck and go out there and pick up all the branches in a little time, you know. And friends, a lot of these folks, I think all of them still have great jobs. Not like me, friends. You know, I'm humbly retired. And Jesus has me on a new mission now. So look, friends, I'm going to take the gloves off. I'm going to call it a night, friends. We played a little pinball. We were in the Word a little bit. I gave you little updates on World War III. I reminded y'all about this perverted, unqualified Department of Veteran Affairs and this evil lawsuit that I have against them. And then I told you how I just don't trust any of y'all. Certainly not the local sheriff or the local government. Especially not the perverted federal government. No way, Jose. So look, friends, it's been fun. And it's been real. And it's been real fun. It certainly has. So look, friends, I'm going to go ahead and go to bed. I got car line again in the morning, friends. But the morning car line goes pretty quick. I might not be able to do a Bible study with you down there tomorrow. But that's quite okay, everybody. Oh, my goodness. Corporal Stevens, what the hell's going on here? All right, everybody. We'll see you in the morning. Y'all have a groovy night. Grizzle 6 out.